The other day, I was driving down the highway, stuck in traffic under the scorching sun, when all of a sudden my AC turned off, and no matter how much I fiddled with the controls, like a desperate meth addict trying to get a fix, it just wouldn't turn back on. Just as my groin was starting to get moist from the high summer heat, my car turned off entirely. I was as happy as an office full of people who just got fired due to company downsizing. I pulled to the curb and called my car dealer. Turns out, when I bought my car, they had actually, without telling me, just leased it to me for an indefinite amount of time, after which, if they wanted to, they could make the car stop functioning, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was so angry I wanted to pop an artery, and that's when I woke up in bed, drenched in cold sweat. It was just a dream, an alternate reality I had tapped into that was not real. Everything was alright, except for the fact that I was back in a sad reality where the same thing is happening to games. Now, this is nothing new. The fact is, when you buy a game, you essentially purchase a license that allows you to play it. But this has only gotten worse over time, especially as we go into this marvelous digital age, where your entire game library depends on a platform to stay up for as many years unless you risk losing everything. You will own nothing, and you will be happy, said an Ubisoft CEO infamously. Now they don't even really own their own company. After having more flops than a pancake at a Waffle House, they had to give out their shares to keep the company from collapsing. I'm sure gamers are as sad as I was when those kids who used to beat me senseless in high school got expelled for unknown reasons. But let's stop beating around the bush. There was a man, a dreamer, and his name was Ross, and he had a vision. A vision of a future where games were preserved, where we got to keep and cherish the things we paid for with our hard-earned sweat. A future where we could go back to play 15-plus-year-old classics if we wanted to, even if no one else did, because it was alright. It was with this dream in mind that Ross set to work on a very powerful consumer-led initiative in the EU called Stop Killing Games. Why the EU when Ross is not from there? Well, besides being the third largest consumer market for games, the EU has certain consumer protection laws in place that can be addressed a bit easier, assuming you get enough support for it, that is. So Ross set out to get a formal petition asking gamers around Europe to sign and hopefully get the conversation rolling so we could see a future where games are not completely lost to the customer, where games have an exit strategy, where they do not need always online connectivity to function, where they're left at least in a reasonable enough state that gamers can play them, not to profit off of them, but to relive the glory days when they used to play them. Fast and forward to today, we have less than a month to try to make this dream a reality. Of course, a lot of creators have focused around the drama, swimming like ravenous sharks around their prey as they circle down the drain of culpability. And while there's a lot of responsibility to bear around this topic and what we can do as creators, I'm just a brain-rotted cookie. What do I know? I rather focus on what matters, getting as much traction on this initiative as possible. Just in the past few days, with large creators in the space covering it, the initiative has made a staggering over 100k signature leap. The dream is alive, but time is running out. Are you ready to do your part, soldier? I realize a lot of you, like myself, are not from Europe, so you might be thinking, who cares? And that's the problem, my friend. You try to think. If initiatives like this do well in Europe, then it isn't long before these practices can spread to other places in the world, and everyone can benefit from finally owning the things they paid for. I know, crazy concept, keep up with me here. I'll leave the links in the description in case you want to leave your mark on history. But for now, I'm out. I gotta take a shower after that nightmare I just had. You might be asking yourself though, you handsome cookie you, what can I do for you? Well, my dear Crumb, I need subscribers, lots of subscribers. So hit those buttons fast and hard, like a spot your lady keeps telling you to find. Who am I kidding? We don't have girlfriends.